Hey, shalom, everyone, and welcome to once again the Anchor podcast. Our faith gives us hope, and that hope is an anchor to our soul. And today, with me, a very, very special guest, Jackie Peleg from Tel Aviv. And you're going to hear an amazing story of what Jackie is doing to expose so much of the fake news, propaganda, and narrative that is being pushed to us all around by the people of Gaza and others around the world. So, Jackie, shalom, and welcome to our podcast.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
You know, I've been following your work for quite a long time, since the beginning of the war, and I can't believe I'm having you here with us. For me, I didn't know your name is Jackie. I didn't know that you have a face. All I knew is that there was a nickname called Imshin that is literally doing one of the best jobs to show the world stuff that the world otherwise would not be able to see. When we will talk about that in a few minutes, but before that, tell us about yourself. Who are you?
Well, I'm an Israeli Jewish mother and wife, and I live in Tel Aviv, as you said. I was born in Liverpool, England, and we came to live in Israel when I was a child. So I grew up here. I sound very English, but my life is in Hebrew. So
we're thankful that you sound English because this is an English-speaking podcast, so we prefer that one.
Okay.
But you kind of all your adult life you were here, basically.
Most of my life.
And,
yes. I grew up here. I went to
military.
Scouts, and yes, I was in the army.
So you're everyday Israeli. And yet, in a very interesting way, I found you online because you actually expose stuff that, for the most part, only Arabic-speaking people understand. So I'm wondering, where is this whole Arabic thing added to the story?
Well, I think a lot of people who grow up bilingual, as I did, have an affinity with languages. And I grew up in Haifa, which is a mixed city, and I heard a lot of Arabic. And so I chose to study Arabic in high school, and I did my matriculation exam in Arabic, but I never continued.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always something, there's something that you're missing. What you get to an age where you say, what didn't I do? This is the time.
It's one of those.
So I returned to learning my schoolgirl Arabic.
Wow.
And that's connected to what I do now on social media, is that something I didn't learn in school was spoken dialect.
You learned the literary.
Yes, it's called MSA, Modern Standard Arabic. That's what I learned. So learning the spoken dialect was completely new to me.
In my case, it was the opposite. For
Really?
me, it was only spoken because I dealt with the Palestinians. It would do me no good to understand anything else but the spoken one, because I spoke with them all day.
Yeah.
And I dealt with the Palestinians in Jericho and the Jordan Valley throughout my military service. But in your case, you said the spoken one came later.
Yes.
And that changed a lot.
Well, what happened was they talk a lot today when you're learning languages, comprehensible input, and to immerse yourself in the language. So I went looking for material in the spoken dialect, and I was looking specifically for non-political material, ironically, because the political stuff it's difficult, and it's very anti-Israel, and it
won't really help you. You want to understand the day-to-day Arabic,
right? Exactly. So I went looking on YouTube for material, and I stumbled on a video in Gaza of two young Gazan youths, and They went into Gaza City, what I later learned was the commercial center of Rumal in Gaza City.
Which is the upscale neighborhood of the
but it's
Beverly
also-
Hills of Gaza.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's also the commercial center.
Yes.
Sort of consumer center.
Mhm.
So they go into this camera shop and they buy a tripod for the camera of one of them, and it's a nice shop. It's designed and it's full of camera stuff, and then they go and have a pizza in a pizzeria, and it's a nice pizzeria. You know, it's not like a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
That's
there
Gaza.
are pizzerias in Gaza, and then they go to.
And when was it? How many years ago?
This was in 2018, beginning of 2000. I think the video was from 2017. And I'm thinking there are pizzerias in Gaza, and you know what happens when you watch a video on YouTube in a certain subject, your feed is full of it.
That's true. It's the algorithm that immediately floods you.
So my feed was suddenly full of videos of Gaza that were depicting a Gaza that I didn't know existed, a middle class.
What Gaza did you think existed?
Well, I thought what everyone thought: stifling blockade, terrible shortages, terrible poverty.
Open air prison.
Yeah.
Concentration camp. I mean, that's
Well,
you knew it's not
I
the
knew
case,
it
but that's the
wasn't.
narrative
Yeah,
that has been pushed.
I knew it wasn't concentration camp, but I was suddenly seeing this middle class going to restaurants, sitting in beachfront cafes, living in nice designer apartments, shopping in really beautiful supermarkets, modern, new, full of produce, full of a big variety of food, more than we get in Israeli supermarkets, because in Israel we have most of the supermarkets in the Jewish sector have to be kosher. And also we have very strong food monopolies. But in Gaza, there was nothing of that. I could see all this variety of foods that had come from abroad that we don't get in Israel. And people were shopping there. They had something called holiday chalets, which were villas with swimming pools that they would rent mainly for a few hours. And this was a place
for parties and
for small parties, for
young couples that just got married, maybe.
Yes, and families. Mainly, I think family holidays, short family holidays, because the women were freer to bathe to swim in the swimming pool, which they can't do. They can't go to the beach and go in the water because for modesty reasons. Once a girl is in a hijab, she can't, which is around about 14, 15, she can't go in the water at all. What happened was, I wasn't just watching these videos, I was fascinated because I was learning so much about their life. And
it's all in your quest to basically improve your Arabic.
And I was learning Arabic.
It's not like you had a mission to somehow go after them or something.
Not at all. Not at all.
You were just...
I was very fond of it. You know, I was following, like, they have YouTubers who are documenting their lives, and I was very fond of them. You know, you have a family and they're showing their lives, and But I realized that I was seeing something that other people should know about. That I was seeing something that was so counter to what everyone knows about Gaza. And at that time also, even before the war, even years before the war, they were already talking about starvation, they were talking about genocide. And I was seeing all this comfort. Now, I was also seeing other things.
But like you would see in any other part of the world.
Yeah, I could see that there was a lot of difference between, there were a lot of very poor people. And
but again, poor people and middle class and upper class exist everywhere around the world. It's not like you're seeing something that is just only in Gaza. I mean, I could show you in Colombia and in Brazil, could take you to the Philippines. I could take you to so many other countries.
Right. And the Arab world as well.
Exactly.
In the Arab world, there's a lot of differentiation between
the lower and the middle class. Yeah.
In Gaza, it's stark because their economy is based on aid and donations. So the fact that there is such a discrepancy between the poor and the rich is or the comfortable. It's uncomfortable to watch because you know that this aid has been sent also for the poor people and they're not getting any of it.
Mm-hmm. So this whole thing of withholding things from people was then already. It's not like only during the war.
Yeah. And people who left Gaza from the beginning of 2019, the Rafah border crossing opened, and people were leaving. And people who were leaving were telling, mainly young men who were leaving for Turkey, and from there they were continuing to Europe. And they were
bold enough to open their mouth.
Exactly. And they would say, if you don't have the connections, even if you have the credentials, you've been to university, for instance, you couldn't get a job if you weren't connected. And you couldn't speak out against Hamas unless you were connected.
And when you say connected, I mean connected to Hamas, basically. Connected to Hamas.
And the other terrorist factions.
And isn't it interesting that all of those Hamas leaders are multi-billionaires? Not even millionaires, billionaires. They're wealthier than any Israeli leader.
Yeah.
In the past, present, future. I mean, it's
and the people
crazy.
know this. The people know that the Hamas has stolen what is essentially their money.
Yeah.
So watching them, I saw the good life. I also saw their attempts to protest and how it was brutally suppressed. I wasn't going looking for this stuff, but it appeared.
It appeared. So you documented in the very beginning, 2018, 2019, the pre-war Gaza. I mean, of course, there were many cycles of, conflicts, but the current war.
Yeah.
And already then you could see a huge difference between the narrative that is being pushed and the reality. But then came October 7th. Where did it catch you, by the way? Where were you on October 7th?
Oh, sleep. It was a Saturday morning.
In Tel Aviv.
Yeah, 6:30. 6:30. There were sirens, and my husband says, "What's this?" We weren't expecting anything, and it was continuous. It was continuous sirens for a long time.
And you saw rockets, and you felt.
Yeah. I usually don't watch television. I close my screens. I don't watch on Saturday, but around about 8, I realized something big was happening, and I opened, and we could see what was happening. Round about 9, my youngest daughter arrived because she was on her own she lives in a rented apartment with roommates, and they weren't there, and she was on her own, and she
preferred to be with you.
She saw what was happening. She was really afraid that they were going to get to Tel Aviv. I mean, it's like an hour away.
They were going to. That was their plan. So
she came and she stayed for a month.
Yes.
It was life-changing, I think.
And something happened because, obviously you were watching videos, you saw what's going on in Gaza before, and that's why you didn't see this one coming, because you saw Good Life that didn't really match what was about to happen.
I think it was more than that. I think I was taken in. I think around about a year to a few months before the war, they were stepping up investment in tourism in Gaza. How strange as that sounds, they were developing tourism. They were renewing, for instance, the Corniche, which is like the boardwalk on the Gaza front. Yes. They were selling plots for tourism. They brought in that summer. They brought in people from Judea and Samaria. They brought in a few people, and from Egypt. Some people had come in, and they were saying how nice Gaza is, and Gaza was nice. And
so they were bragging. They were showing off.
Just a few months before, they opened this huge car dealership called Motor One. I understand there are Motor One dealerships in Egypt, but they'd open this. It's an enormous glass building on the seafront, and they were selling luxury cars there.
Yeah, I remember that. That's one of those images that I will never forget. The before and after of that particular one. And so the war started, and something in you changed, obviously, and you felt the need. Am I right? You felt the need to expose what's going on in Gaza. Something that you did before, but now you're doing that in the middle of a war that is, a lot of it is a war on public opinion and against the narrative of starvation and genocide. You began to upload videos that showed a completely different picture.
The claims of imminent starvation started immediately.
Although their shops were packed.
Well, the first thing that happened on the 7th of October is we saw the videos of people celebrating in the streets. Correct. But we also saw people stocking up in the supermarkets and queuing at the bakeries because they thought they knew what was coming, and what they thought, based on the past, was that
another round.
Yeah, a few days, a few weeks, they just had to stock up and they'd be fine. Because in previous rounds, ordinary people knew they had nothing to fear. They knew that bombings weren't random.
And they knew that if something will happen, it'll last anything from 2-3 days to 2 weeks. That's it.
Right.
People stock up things and immediately said famine because there's nothing left.
And also you have to understand how they live in Gaza is that people always have food. People have stocks of food. People have... UNRWA gives out free food. That's what one of UNRWA's functions is, to look after the people who are designated as
refugees,
as Palestinian refugees, no matter what their economic situation is. So they get sacks of flour, sacks of sugar, and they have stores. Most people have stocks of food. Another thing is, because Hamas is such a corrupt ruler, they don't rely on the Hamas government. And it was a government. It was a functioning state.
But nobody trusted that they will fulfill their...
Completely corrupt.
So they rely on UNRWA for food, and they rely on themselves to have enough food if something happens.
And not only food, they rely on themselves for the most basic things, including electricity and water.
Generators. And
they have generators. They have
big tanks of water.
Solar panels on all the buildings.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, satellite dishes for satellite TV in...
I don't.
Me,
Probably.
I travel. I travel in the West Bank, in Judea, Samaria. Even the Bedouins in the Judean desert have satellite dishes, which is very interesting.
Well, the water is always interesting because since 2009, they have been claiming that the 95% of water in Gaza is undrinkable. So what they don't understand is that there are private companies in Gaza desalinating water and purifying water and supplying it to people. And like in the luxury buildings, they have their own desalination. Amazing. They have their own water wells,
Most of the world doesn't have.
and they pump out the water.
Yeah.
And they clean it themselves. And the same as I said, if you can't afford your own generator, you will buy electricity from a generator company. So there is a certain amount of electricity coming from Hamas government, but people don't rely on it. So like the first days of the war, they were talking about, Israel was saying, we'll cut off their water, we'll cut off their electricity, we'll cut off their food. And I was thinking, you think you will.
But they have their own thing.
As long as they have diesel, they're going to pump their own water. They're going to generate their own electricity, which they did. For.
So I mean, we're 18 months after the war had begun, and they're still on their feet.
Yeah.
Because they probably had enough stocked and enough ways to survive. Now, from the beginning of the war, I see the name Imshin. What is Imshin, by the way?
It's a nickname my eldest daughter called me when she was little.
Okay,
it's
Imshin.
from Ima.
Imshin.
Yeah, it's
so it's not an Arab word or something.
No.
Okay, Imshin. So again, since the beginning of the war, I see this Imshin videos popping on my feed on social media. And one of the things that you do so well is you put the timestamp on each and every one of the video in the text section that you put underneath the video. You always make sure people understand when exactly that video was uploaded.
Yeah.
Not taken, but uploaded. I don't know exactly. We can't really know when it was taken. 2 days ago.
Sometimes we
you can.
Sometimes we can.
But what you do know is when it was uploaded.
Yeah.
And for the most part, they upload things immediately.
Yeah.
And so how do you know? How can you authenticate things of A, where it was taken, and B, when it was taken?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you how I started to record the so you can see the timestamp. I didn't always do that. I didn't know how to do it. All the time, I'm learning how to do things.
Because that's not your job. It's not you're learning by doing.
No, I'm just
amazing.
I'm just an ordinary person who's watching videos, watching TikTok and YouTube and sharing it. So at a certain point in the war, I think it was around July, August 2024, there was such an influx of food, and there was so much food coming in that food aid started to get thrown away.
Amazing.
And you'd see it in the streets. And the first time I saw this, I caught a TikTok video of 5 minutes of raw footage of just someone, I think he was riding on a bike along Salahuddin Street, which is like the main street across Gaza, and hundreds of cans of food are strewn along the street. And I think it took about, I caught it, I downloaded it, and in about half an hour it was gone. It had been taken off.
Because someone thought it doesn't serve our narrative.
Right. So then I realized I'm going to have to start doing better. So I learned how to record the screen. I do everything on my phone, by the way, unless I'm...
Me too, by the way.
unless I'm editing something, which even that I do on my phone these days. So I learned how to record the screen, so I have the timestamp I have it recorded and the source. I give the link, but I like to have that you can see when it was uploaded on the actual video that I upload. How do I know when it was recorded?
Oh, where? I mean, some people accuse you for putting videos that are not in Gaza.
But before October 7th, this was very common. People would say, well, that's not Gaza.
But you know why? Because nobody could believe that Gaza is that lavish.
Right.
I mean, even up until now. And the funny thing is, they like to put videos of before and after to show how bad things are. But they forget that once you put the videos of before, it destroys your narrative of an open-air prison and over a terrible place.
The strange thing is that people are okay with this dissonance. Very strange.
And you see it and you're like, what's going on here?
It's
Look.
So strange. It's so strange how people can 1 minute say it was an open-air prison. You can't blame them for invading Israel and doing all the terrible, terrible things they did because of
how they lived. And
then they show these before and afters. Look how we lived before October 7th. And they're uploading it. Look how we lived. Look what we've lost. So before the war, often, how did I know it was in Gaza? Well, I follow a channel. I follow an account, and it's not like it's not from nowhere.
You don't fish it from online things. You literally follow someone who normally uploads things.
Yeah. There are a lot of people that I've been following for years.
Yeah.
And I know the family, and I know the cousins. So they'll say, I am in Gaza, or they will show themselves.
They'll tell you where in Gaza also.
Yeah. They'll film themselves in very well-known Gazan places, like on the fishing port,
yes,
which is very recognizable. It still is, actually.
And also the city square.
Yes, the Jundi al-Majhul,
yes,
the unknown soldier, all sorts of places, and very recognizable restaurants, which I have found on Google Maps. Easy. And I follow on multiple platforms.
So you do simple intelligence work, or from the intelligence that can be visible by everyone.
Yeah, and very easy. And if nothing else works, there's always Gaza license plates, car license plates. Yeah.
See?
Because they have a different license plate than in Palestinian Authority.
Yeah.
And very recognizable.
Yeah.
So
I've noticed there are actually two types of videos that are uploaded by some accounts that I appreciate. Of course, one of them is that you depict what's really going on. But there's also others that are uploading videos that are obviously fake videos or Hollywood, or Palestinian Hollywood, of them staging stuff that doesn't really exist in order to gain some points. In your quest to find the truth, do you also find those type of fake videos as well, of staging stuff? Can you recognize it's staged, or are you only uploading and exposing what they really are, or the way they really live?
Well, my focus is what is.
What is. That's what I thought.
But occasionally I do comment on things when
even a couple days ago, I saw you commenting on this buffed, muscular guy that was complaining that he lost everything. I mean, he doesn't look starved to me. It seems like he's been visiting the gym quite often in the last few...
He's a professional bodybuilder.
There you go. He's a professional bodybuilder. In 18 months into a war, it seems like he's been attending his gym often.
Yeah.
And apparently you've seen him on videos to know that this is not the first rodeo for him trying to do things.
No, he's
a known guy.
He's a known guy. Yeah.
Do you find people that are occasionally appearing on videos and faking things repeatedly, like specific figures that every Gazan knows that they're professionals in that thing?
Yes, but I don't look for it.
Yeah, you want the real people.
Yeah. I don't like if I see something that's professional professionally filmed. I try to steer clear from that type of channel. For instance,
there's Mr. Fafo.
Yeah, I actually I followed him before the war.
Really?
Yeah.
And what was the type of videos he would upload before?
Well,
Just normal?
There was one where he went to buy, I think it was earrings for his sister who was.
So he showed the good life, basically.
He didn't do much. He was a singer. He didn't do a lot of videos that interested me because I wasn't interested in his singing career. But yeah, he lived in a nice house, and I want to go back to the question of when things are filmed.
Yeah,
that
not just where, but when.
Yeah. During the war, people say when.
Oh,
they also say that they are in Gaza. They're more likely since the war.
Because they're afraid somebody will say they're not there. So they want to make sure, you know.
I am in North Gaza and this is the situation. I am in South Gaza and this is the situation. So they will also say, for most of the war, they say, this is day such and such in the war.
I see.
So I could go and check what the date was on day such and such. Or they will say, Ramadan, for instance, they always say the day, which day of Ramadan it is, or the day of the week, they will often say. And something that's very notable is that a lot of videos, they make a lot of videos of fundraising.
Of course.
So they will show and say what date it is, because what they do is they say it's a soup kitchen. And it's an Islamic charity or a private person who is running
the soup kitchen.
The soup kitchen is, and they're also they're money-making businesses. The soup kitchens. We don't know how much goes into the pots and how much goes into the pocket, but they make these big banners, and they're printed banners, and they've been all through the war. They've had these printing presses open to make these big banners, and they in which they thank the donors, which are usually somewhere from the Arab world,
the wealthier part of the Arab.
Not necessarily, because in Islam you have the
charity.
Charity is very very a major part of Islam. So a lot of people will donate to an Islamic charity, and they send the money. So they have their names, and they always have the date, because they want to prove what they're doing with the money that they've received and when.
So they're freely giving you the information.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
I see. So here you are, ordinary Israeli, wanted to improve her Arabic. You dove into social media. You happened to find videos from Gaza. You were shocked to find out that Gaza is not what they said it is. The war began, and you see that even throughout the war, when things should have been terrible, you actually upload videos of the markets, restaurants, cafes. Were you shocked to see all of these things during the war? Because as an Israeli, you see what the Israeli side is doing as far as military campaign and stuff like that. But then it's almost like unbelievable to see that on the other side, there's cafes and restaurants and the markets are packed, and it seems like people are not that depressed.
Listen, life was very difficult. For the ordinary Gazan, life was very difficult. And of course, we have the situation of the haves and the have-nots. Mm-hmm. There are people with money, and they can go into the markets.
But that was before also. That's the point. It's not like the war didn't change it. Maybe it added few more to the unhappy or miserable. But all in all, the markets of mid-war reminded you a lot of the markets before. Restaurants and cafes and what they serve.
Well, the amazing thing was that people were displaced and people were living in these tent camps. And around about, I think, February, March 2023. 2024, sorry. Shawarma restaurants started cropping up. Now, at this point, it was meant to be that only the very basic humanitarian aid was coming in.
Yes.
But then chicken started to come in, and people who were displaced from the north started opening shawarma restaurants,
yes.
and places from the south also started to reopen. Quite, it's just a few months, and then when crazy thing happened is that if you remember. Before the operation, the IDF operation in Rafah, there was a lot of talk about how terrible it will be when they go into Rafah.
All eyes on Rafah.
All eyes on Rafah, and it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yes.
And there'll be nothing to eat.
Yeah. The same narrative.
The crazy thing that happened was. First of all, it took just a few days to evacuate Rafah peacefully and with no problem, because a lot of people were in tents, so they just packed up and moved a bit north. But the funny thing is, Egypt closed Rafah border crossing, and Israel opened Kerem Shalom border crossing. And the exact opposite happened with the food situation.
More food came
in because not only was the humanitarian aid coming in, but the commercial relations with Israel kickstarted, and a lot of private stuff started to come in.
Mm-hmm.
So the markets, you could see these markets full of fresh, good Israeli produce, loads of it.
Let's put it this way. There's a lot of Palestinians in other parts of the world that wish they had so much food.
Not only Palestinians.
I know, but...
ordinary Egyptians.
Right,
and
Egyptians. I mean, to a certain degree, you just cross the border. There's a lot of Egyptians on the Egyptian side of Rafah that wish they had the food that the Palestinian one had during the war.
And this is not to downplay the difficulty of living in, of losing your home, and a lot of people did lose their homes, and living in a tent with the uncertainty, and they had all sorts of problems like the cash was falling to pieces physically. It was disintegrating because they weren't getting. Usually they use Israeli currency. So usually in peace times, the Bank of Israel changes their cash for them. So this wasn't happening. So money was falling to pieces physically. So they started to use banking apps. I mean, people don't realize that they have internet.
They have internet. They have cell phones.
They have cell phones.
They have great communications systems.
One of the first businesses, like little businesses that developed when they were displaced, was before people got organized with solar panels for their tents. People living in tents with solar panels. Little stores popped up with a solar panel and
charging points.
And charging points. And you pay 1 shekel, which is like 27 cents, US cents, to charge your phone.
Yeah, amazing.
And power banks.
And
so people come with their power banks and
exactly. And isn't that amazing that, I mean, they accuse us for committing genocide and they use the word Holocaust and they call us Nazis, but yet they refuse to help the situation with giving us information about the hostages, something that would rapidly end the war if we had them all back. Israel offered millions of dollars to anyone who will give us information. No one stepped forward. And it's very interesting that even in Germany during World War II, Germans would help Jewish people. Not many, but they were righteous among the nations. In Gaza, not a single. I have testimonies of hostages that managed to escape, and they were captured by the Gazan population, who turned them back into the hands of Hamas. I mean, so as much as I feel sorry for them losing their home, I don't see a single effort on their part to bring an end to this situation by maybe contributing to getting our hostages back, because the hostages back in our hands, if we had them back, this war would have been over a long time ago. It's easy to crush Hamas when they don't have those chips, winning chips. I mean, look how fast we finish things in Lebanon when you don't have hostages held there. So you see their situation, and in my case at least, I find it very hard to feel sorry for someone who is not willing to even help himself. You understand what I'm saying? I feel for him that he's not doing well, but at the same time, not a single Palestinian stepped forward and did something or helped in any shape or form. And it's very, very sad to see that. But a question that I had in mind, why would they upload those videos at all when they actually want to push a narrative that is exactly the opposite? They want the world to think that there is famine and genocide. So why would he open a cafe, restaurant, whatever, and upload a video for Imshin to find and then expose it? Why would he do that? Do you think that there is a reason? I mean, that these people actually speak two different ways to two different audiences?
Well, I think it's worked for them till now. People don't see what they don't want to see. And the discrepancy really is very stark. I think partially there are a few reasons. One reason would be advertising. If you open a cafe, you want everyone to know about it. And a lot of it is advertising. It'll be merchants advertising wholesale goods they have. Even someone who's got a stock of food, and he says, like I'm on this corner, come and get it. Another thing is, before the war, this was very much boasting. People wanted, look what I have. Look at my beautiful home. Before the war, also, if you were a YouTuber.
But I can understand it before the war. Why would they do that during the war? That the thing is, so a lot of people don't understand. The Palestinians in particular, but Arabs in general, Arab leaders in general, when they speak to the world, they say one thing.
Yeah.
When they speak to their own people, they say another thing.
Right.
And somebody told me that even Al Jazeera in Arabic and Al Jazeera in English, it's like two different worlds.
Right.
I mean, in Arabic, it pushes so much violence and harsh rhetorics, whereas in English, they sound like angels. So
it's even more than that, because in Arabic, they're winning the war. And they're reporting all these great military victories.
Fake ones, and imaginary ones.
The Gazans know it's not true, and they joke about it.
It's amazing.
So another reason that they're doing it is, I think a lot of it is lack of awareness. Something I see, especially in these last few days, last few weeks, since Israel closed the border crossings, they had, during the ceasefire, they got an enormous amount of supplies. Yeah. Enormous.
They couldn't even store trucks were actually waiting to enter into Gaza because there was no one to even be there to absorb all of these trucks.
There's an enormous amount of supplies in Gaza. So people are uploading videos in these days when it's after we're 2 months into this forced starvation. So they make videos, and the title of the video will be what I cooked for my family during the famine. And they'll show themselves making stuffed vine leaves, stuffed zucchini.
Like real good food, actually.
Yeah. And the fresh chicken has run out.
Depleted.
But they've still got the canned meat. And they're making makluba.
Yeah.
So they're making vegetarian makluba. But makluba is a very rich food. It's like a big rice pot, and it has on it eggplant,
Cauliflower, or
tomatoes. I haven't seen cauliflower, but they have tomatoes, potatoes. What
and
else
it's
is
all
it?
underneath.
Yes, and makluba means upside down. So they turn it over. So it's this big pot of rice, and they turn it over, and they make this is our famine food.
And
so it's like they don't understand when they talk about starvation or famine. The meaning of the word has a different. It's different.
Well, even the meaning of the word genocide is different, and in that what makes some countries trying to change the definition of genocide in order to match it to the real situation in Gaza, because obviously there is no genocide in Gaza. So, wow, amazing stuff that you're doing, exposing things without even intending to. I mean, you're basically showing what really is going on, and by doing that, you're telling the world. I don't know if you intend to, but that's how I took it. You're telling the world there's one thing that they say, and there's another thing that they do. I'm gonna show you what they do. Not only
I try very much just to show. I don't even say much. I do.
I know.
Miazan making.
And that's the thing that caught my attention, is that your personal input was very minimal. You were like an expert intelligence officer that would give us raw footage, give us the time and the place stamp, deal with that. And it's all I needed is to know that 2 days ago, in the middle of Gaza, authenticated video shows me that they just opened a cafe and they serve some waffles. And you're like,
what?
What is going on here? And that's
because they say there's no flour.
Exactly.
And they say there's no sugar.
No eggs, no things.
But they have waffles and crepes and all in chocolate sauce.
And the sad thing is
milkshakes and ice cream and pizzas.
The sad thing is, and I've been lamenting that from the beginning of the wars, the Palestinians are single-handedly responsible, not just to the suffering of the Jewish people and killing of all the Israelis, the murdering of the Israelis, but that the world is no longer paying attention to where the real famine is and the real genocide is. No one is even caring about places like in Sudan and Yemen and other places where the real famine is, where they will never upload milkshake or waffles because they don't even have any food to eat.
They don't have the ability to.
Exactly. There's nothing there. So the world's attention was shifted towards the darlings of the world, the Palestinians, the only people on planet Earth that they have their own refugee agency. There's the refugee agency for the rest of the world, and there's one for the Palestinians.
In perpetuity.
Yes, which is another crazy thing. You cannot be a refugee when you're second or third generation, at least not in the rest of the world or in the real world. But the point is this: people that really suffer from genocide. I mean, look at the Alawites in Syria right now. It's horrible what's going on there. Look at the Yazidis in Iraq, and in Syria. Horrible what is going on there. They'll never make it to the numbers that they had before because that's a genocide.
Yeah.
You're not becoming bigger, but you've got 80 years after the Holocaust, and we don't have enough Jews to the number that we had before. 80 years after,
Right.
we didn't make it. And since the beginning of the war, the population in Gaza grew 2.3%. Genocide? So places with real genocide and places with real famine, places with real persecution and on religious ground and everything, they're being ignored. Nobody cares about it because all eyes are on Rafah, all eyes are on Gaza. And the stupid thing is, even when all eyes are on Gaza, they don't want to see the truth that comes out of Gaza. They prefer to believe the lie. And that's why I appreciate what you do. And last question is, what are your plans for the days after the war? I mean, the war obviously is coming to an end, I don't know, 2-3 months from now. I'm sure somehow it's going to be over, hopefully. Are you going to fly to Hawaii and and retire there? Or what are your plans? Do you want to continue to do these type of things? Because obviously your social media presence has grown a lot since the beginning of the war, and people take you as a source of authentic, valuable information. So what is it that you plan on doing?
Well, I guess that depends on how it ends. If there are Gazans in Gaza to follow, and I'm able to follow them, then I will.
You will.
Probably. Although sometimes I get so
Mhm.
sick of it. I don't want,
Yeah.
oh no, I don't want to go into TikTok today, because it's not easy.
Mhm.
It's not easy to be in the war all the time with no
Yeah.
escape.
You do that every day? Like you find yourself every day in social media?
Well, I take off Shabbat.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do other things and I just go in for a
Yeah.
short while because I get sucked in.
I see.
People think, oh, you cherry pick. I go into TikTok and I know if I'm going into TikTok, I'm going to have time
Exactly.
because I immediately see things that I can share that are worthy of sharing. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, wherever I'm going in, I have to give the time. So if I have the energy,
you will continue.
I will continue if there is something to continue. I'm not going to continue to cover if it's going to be a Riviera of Trump Towers, then
that's not your thing.
No.
My piece of advice to you, follow them wherever they go, because they will continue this type of first of all, they will always stand against Israel even when they're outside of Gaza. So there is a point of exposing who they are, but also you will see that they will always continue to complain and yet have good life wherever they are. The world will always take care of them. Trust me. Been there, done that. I've seen it enough times. So it will be appreciated if even if they leave Gaza, you're going to continue uploading videos of wherever they are. So the world will see that the narrative, the fake narrative that continues to be a fake one. That's my advice to you. You don't have to stick to Gaza, stick to the Gazans. And you might find out that you can maybe take someone out of Gaza, but you cannot take Gaza out of him. And the whole mindset of I'm poor, they took it from me, they drank it from me, all of that. And then yet in reality, things are different. I want to thank you, Jackie, for your hard work. You've opened my eyes to see things. And we are going to show right now in the lower third how people can find you on social media. I want to encourage people to follow you and encourage you also to continue. And let us know whenever the war is over what your plans are. But until then, we will continue to encourage you to do what you're doing. You're doing a good job exposing the truth speaking the truth and helping the cause of the truth. And I think that Israel is here to stay. Your parents were Zionists. They moved out of the UK to Israel because of their ideology. You're a true Zionist by not only coming to Israel in a young age and living here and not running away, but also in advocating for Israel and exposing the truth of the enemies of Israel. So I want to encourage you. I want to thank you. And for everyone, this is an inspired case of one of few, not many, unfortunately, of people who are doing their job to speak out the truth and bring it to all of you and to let people understand what really is going on here. But for Jackie's truth to come out, we need your help to share, but also comment on her videos. Obviously encourage her. I'm sure she gets quite a few hate comments from people who don't like the fact that they have been exposed. So please help, comment, and share, and follow her on social media. I want to thank you for watching this episode of the Anchor podcast. Thank you, and God bless you from Galilee.